The year is 1950. The place? Tokyo's Haneda Airport. It's just after World War II. Air travel is becoming more common. Planes fly overhead. Luggage rattles around. Babies cry. And among the throngs of people, a man stands out. He's middle-aged, tall and thin, neatly dressed in a gray business suit, a white shirt, dark tie, slicked back hair, and shiny dress shoes. He moves through the crowd with purpose, stopping only to answer questions from immigration officials. Their brief conversation appears cordial, but soon becomes strained. The man's face betrays no emotion. See, when asked where he's from, the man replies, Taured. His passport confirms this. It's clean, crisp, and official looking, bearing the coat of arms of Taured. But there is one small problem. There is no such country. Not in Europe, Asia, or anywhere on the globe. It's not listed in any atlas. It doesn't appear in any records. Even stranger, the man points to where Andorra should be on a map. That's odd too, because Andorra is real, but the tiny mountain nation is part of Spain, not an independent country in itself. Officials assume there must be a misunderstanding. Maybe the man is confused. Perhaps he's drunk. He smells faintly of alcohol, but there's nothing in his behavior that indicates intoxication. The man remains calm, confident, almost condescending. In tone, he insists Thoreau is real. He even pulls out a tourist map of the region, showing a winding river and a road leading to a castle ruins. He claims that he lives in the capital city, Tharatra. So the man knows his country exists. That much is clear. But how could he be so sure of something that isn't real? Did he make up this imaginary homeland? Is he lying to cover some nefarious plot? Is he a spy? A secret agent? But if he is, where is he from? Where did he really come from? In the coming hours, we will find out. As the story goes, the man speaks fluently in French, Japanese, Spanish, and several other languages. This makes no sense. He doesn't look Arab, Asian, or European. So why does he know so many tongues? Was he an army veteran stationed abroad? But where? Then, as he presents his documents, things become even more confusing. His checkbook, customs papers, driver's license, they're all from Theratops, which again, doesn't exist. Still, these documents are complete, legitimate, embossed with seals, stamped with ink, numbered and perforated. The man shows them proudly, as if to say, what more do you need? But that question can't be answered. The situation defies logic. The man's story adds up, yet his country doesn't exist. After questioning, he's released with instructions to stay at a nearby hotel until his departure. But as soon as he checks in, he starts asking questions of his own, questions that baffle the hotel staff. First, he wants to know the exact number of rooms, including vacant ones. Next, he asks for a room on the top floor, preferably with a view. The hotel staff comply. They show him to room 827. It's soundproofed, well insulated, has two beds and a locked window. But the man doesn't care about any of this. He immediately requests to inspect the balcony. That's strange. It's unnecessary. And while the hotel employee hesitates, he opens the door and steps onto the balcony. He looks around, then down, as if checking to see how far he could fall before dying. Finally, he says, "It'll do," then closes the door and locks it. Now, why would a seasoned traveler ask for a top floor room with a locked balcony? That's weird, sure, but get weirder. Soon after the man settles in, officials bring him food, but he refuses to eat it. He orders a bottle of wine and a bucket of ice. He pours the wine over the ice, lets it sit for a few moments, then takes a sip. He likes it. In fact, he enjoys it so much that he orders another bottle. He drinks both bottles without food. Then he calls down to reception to complain that the light in the bathroom is flickering. They send someone up to fix it, but the electrician is unable to adjust the fixture, so he leaves. As darkness falls, the man calls down to reception again. He asks for 2 double-sized blankets, a pillow, a large box, and a roll of adhesive tape. But why? Who knows? What he does next is even stranger. At precisely p.m., he tapes the blankets together, fashioning them into a large square. He then lays the pillow in the center of the square and places the box on top. It's bizarre, nonsensical, but the man's not done. He turns off the lights and proceeds to the balcony door. Using the box as a shield, he begins knocking on the door, hitting it with all of his might. He knocks on the wood, tapping a rhythm that sounds like a distress signal. Of course, no one answers. At 11:30 p.m., the noise stops. Silence falls once more over the hotel. For the next hour, the man does nothing, or at least nothing can be observed. Everything is dark in the room. Then suddenly, pounding on the door resumes. He bangs on the door non-stop for 5 minutes, then pauses. Again, the only sound is his breathing. Then pounding resumes, followed by more silence. At 1:30 a.m., he phones reception to complain about the noise next door. They investigate and tell him that no one is in the neighboring room. They offer to switch him to another room, but he declines. Instead, he asks for a hammer. They bring him a hammer and he uses it to pound on the door. Now, it's hammered, dented, gouged. The man is intent on breaking through. He pounds on the door until a.m. Then he phones reception and demands to speak to the manager. When the manager arrives, the man explains that the wall is so thin he can hear everything. The manager apologizes profusely, but the man interrupts him. "Don't bother. It's not your fault. I understand." The man pays his bill and leaves the hotel. He's gone. Just vanished. But he's not finished with the story. He heads to a train station and buys a ticket for Kyoto. On the train, he meets a young man and engages him in conversation. He tells his new friend about Thoreau and how he needs to get home. He describes Thoreau in detail, mentioning its mountains, rivers, forests, and fields. But the young man is unfazed. He nods politely, but he clearly doesn't believe a word. The man from Taured is disappointed. He understands that his friend thinks him mad, but he can't blame him. After all, how could anyone believe a man who talks about a country that isn't real? And here's the thing, we may never know what happened to the man from Taured. Records don't say. We only have news clippings from newspapers in the early 1950s. But some sources say that as the story goes, when authorities checked his room the next morning, he was gone. The room was locked from the inside. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken windows, no secret passageways. His luggage, passport, belongings, everything was missing. It was as if he had never existed. And as far as the Tokyo airport is concerned, he didn't. He never appeared in official records. No trace remained that he had ever been there. Yet bits and pieces surfaced in newspaper clippings, radio interviews, and logbooks of travelers in the 1950s. Some described seeing the man in person. Others claimed to have met him in their dreams. Over the years, dozens of theories emerged, but none could fully explain what happened. Was it a government experiment in teleportation? A time traveler stranded in the wrong year? A secret agent testing reactions under pressure? Or a case of the Mandela effect? The possibilities are endless, but the mystery endures. If it was fake, who planted the evidence? If it was real, why is no one talking about it now? Today, quantum physicists suggest that jumping between parallel universes might be possible, thanks to quantum entanglement or wormholes. Some even claim that airports and transport hubs are natural energy points for such phenomena, meaning that the Haneda airport incident might not be the only one, just the most documented. Maybe the man simply slipped through a crack in space-time, only to return later to a timeline where he never left. Whatever the truth, the man from Taured remains one of the strangest, most inexplicable mysteries in modern history, a ghost from a world that never was, or perhaps still is, somewhere else. Are you intrigued by this tale? Do you have similar experiences? Share your thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating tales.